This is the first estate, and this lesson centers on NatTurner was the slave revolt. It wasn't just one man. As you can see, Confessions of NatTurner by Kenneth Greenberg. Just going to go through some images here. You can read this at your own leisure. Okay. Strong's Concordance. This book contains the definition of every word in the King James Bible, Old and New Testament. Print out from the Word of the Bible, Strong's Concordance. The word is Nathan. It's a name associated with many Israelites, not just one. Because remember, all tribes were known as Judah. Nathan being short or long form for Nate. So here we go. Turner. Turner, which means turn. So here we go with turn. As you can see, the word is right here, reject. Top left-hand corner of your screen, that's where you can keep track of the biblical verses I will be using throughout this lesson. Titus chapter 3, verse 10. A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition, reject. Admonition means counsel or warning. Slaves were apparently having meetings and to see who was on board with the revolt or not. The ones that were nay were rejected. Here we have the word watcher. See the word Gabriel down here, the archangel. But up here at the key, we see ER. So now you have turn, Now, we're going to go to another verse. Book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 13. I saw in a vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. Okay. Now, also means awake. Eldest son of Judah. Okay. Watcher. Here, let's have some info on NatTurner. I'm not going to read it, the whole thing, but as you can see, Nat means Nathan, Nathaniel. Okay, so you can read this at your own leisure time. I do, however, want to take a little bit away from this, and this is just right here at the bottom. He frequently experienced visions, which he interpreted as messages from God. These visions greatly influenced his life. For instance, when Turner was 22 years old, he ran away from his owner, but returned a month later after having such a vision. Okay, so move on. Turner was hanged on November 11 in Jerusalem, Virginia, now known as Courtland, Virginia. Ironic because a court is a place of judgment. Coat of arms. Tunic, okay, turncoat. Now, this is very important for a number of reasons. We will get to that. The Apocrypha, Ethiopia version. We'll go to chapter 6, verse 11. I just want to touch on something here. Then at his command, the guards brought forward the eldest. Having torn off his tunic, they bound his hands and arms with thongs on each side. Once again, it's ironic that it says the eldest, because remember, the son of Judah, was his eldest son. And it turned This particular image here is a tunic, something they would have worn during the Crusader times. This here, is Frederick Douglass. Okay, Now you see the long trench coat he's wearing? This is known as a tunic. Why would he be wearing a tunic? Well, let's read a little on Frederick Douglass. All right. After escaping slavery, Frederick Douglass became a leader in the fight to end slavery in the United States. Douglass wrote several influential autobiographies and created an anti-slavery newspaper, the North Star. During the Civil War, Douglass organized 2 regiments of African American soldiers to fight in the Union Army. After the war ended, he continued to fight for equality. Douglass held several public offices in his life and became the first African American nominated for vice president of the United States. Now, I just want to point out he was not known as an African American back then. That's just a recent term that they've tagged us with. All right? Confessions of Nat Turner. Okay? Why would they be calling Frederick Douglass Nat Turner? Because Nat Turner was not just one man, it was the whole body of Negroes who were fighting against slavery. And they also looked at this man as a turncoat, that being the establishment, United States government. Okay? Now, as we move on, let's look up the word coat. Remember, Jacob gave his son Joseph a coat of many colors. It was a garment, a robe. But here, look, tunic confirms that Frederick Douglass wore a tunic. Okay, he was a Nat Turner. We're going to go to the key. It's already broken into syllables, 3 different words, letter. Kath, O Nath. We'll go there. So Kath, as you can see, right up here, key means harp. Okay, to which praises of God are sung in heaven. So Kath Ara. Oh, we're going to go to the book of Galatians, right? Chapter 3, verse 1. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you. And Neth, Kath, O Neth. See? Neth meaning Nathan, means to give. Right? So Nath, then we go to Nathan once again, see, means giver. Word is Jew for Judah. Okay? Judah means praise, son of Jacob by Leah. After the division of the kingdom, the name of this tribe was applied to one of the kingdoms, which include the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, with a portion of Simeon and Dan, had Jerusalem for its metropolis. After the carrying away of the 10 tribes and after the Babylonian exile, this name is applied to the whole land of Israel, as mentioned earlier in this lesson. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Languish means weak, feeble. Okay? Weak or feeble, because, as stated before, the majority of the slaves were, dare I say, cowards. They just could not revolt. It was just not in them. But the Nat Turners, they were something different, something special. And these blacks that you see today, which are really the true Jews, of the Bible, Israelites, the ones that you see today that don't have an issue with being called African American as opposed to just being called black or indigenous to this land that is really our land. These are um, the ones that are weak and feeble. Okay, the ones that wouldn't revolt, because you see today they still won't revolt. They like being in this situation, even though some of them are like destitute. Okay, living in dilapidated communities like the ghetto and things of that nature. So, anyway, this has been the First Estate with another lesson, and now you know what NatTurner means. Okay?